Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Out of millions of videos online, thousands of distractions, and countless other things you could be doing right now, you're here listening to these words. That alone should make you stop and think. You didn't just find this video. You were brought to it. There's a reason this message appeared on your screen, a reason your heart felt the pull to press play, and a reason you're still here, reading or listening. This moment isn't random. It's a moment written for you before you were even born. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Not a single encounter, not a single delay, not even a single heartbreak. Every step you take, every moment you experience has been perfectly placed for a reason far beyond your understanding. The truth is, life may look chaotic from where you stand. Plans fail, people leave, doors close. But behind the scenes, there is divine precision guiding every turn. When you found this message, when you pressed play, that too was not random. It was written long before you even existed. Part of a plan carefully crafted by the one who knows exactly what your soul needs and when it needs it. You see, we live in a world obsessed with control. We want to predict everything, plan everything, and make sense of everything. But the most peaceful hearts are those that surrender to the truth that control never belonged to us in the first place. You didn't choose to take your first breath, and you won't choose your last. So everything in between, all the highs and lows, the successes and setbacks, are not accidents but signs. Signs reminding you that the one who gave you life is still in charge of it. Sometimes you only realize how purposeful a moment was after time passes. The person who hurt you, the job you didn't get, the dream that didn't come true, they all seemed like disappointments, but now you can see how they redirected you to something greater. That's not coincidence, that's divine orchestration. Every no that broke your heart was protection from what would have destroyed you. Every delay that frustrated you was preparation for something you weren't ready for yet. Even the tears you cried in private was seen, counted, and answered in ways you might not recognize yet. You might wonder, if everything happens for a reason, why do painful things occur? Why do we go through heartbreak, loss, and confusion? The answer lies in trust. Trust that the one who allows hardship is also the one who brings healing through it. Sometimes pain is the only thing strong enough to push you toward change. Sometimes the collapse of your plans is the beginning of your true purpose. When things fall apart, it's not always a punishment. Often, it's a gentle nudge telling you that there's something better waiting if only you'd stop holding on to what's temporary. Look back at your own life for a moment. How many times did you think something was the end, only to realize later that it was a new beginning? How many times did you lose something you thought you couldn't live without, and then discover peace, strength, or wisdom you never knew you had? You see, nothing is wasted in the divine plan. Every moment serves a purpose, even the ones that hurt. The people you met, the lessons you learned, the struggles you survived, all of it was leading you to this exact moment, this very reminder right now. When you came across this message, it wasn't luck or coincidence. It was timing, perfect timing. You might have been searching for clarity, for comfort, or for meaning, and this is the answer you were meant to hear. That your life is not random, you're not lost, you're not forgotten. You're exactly where you're meant to be, even if you can't see the full picture yet. You're being guided in ways you can't measure and protected from things you'll never know. There is a plan unfolding, one that has been written with absolute wisdom. Every delay has a purpose. Every unanswered prayer is waiting for the right moment. Every unexpected blessing is a reminder that you're seen, loved, and cared for, even when life doesn't make sense. So stop trying to figure out every detail. Instead, trust that every detail is already figured out for you. The one who wrote your story has already accounted for your mistakes, your detours, and your pain. You didn't just stumble upon this message. It found you because you needed to be reminded that your life isn't random, it's guided. The fact that you're here reading these words is proof that you're still part of a greater plan that's far from over. Every heartbeat, every breath, and every step you take is leading you closer to what was always meant for you. Nothing in your life is accidental. It's all intentional. And that's what makes your story so beautiful. There are moments in life when everything feels heavy. When you're trying to hold it all together, but inside you feel like you're falling apart. When the world feels silent, your prayers seem unanswered, and your hope starts to fade. Then suddenly, something small happens. You come across a message, a video, or a sentence that hits you so deeply it feels like it was meant for you and only you. That moment right there, that's not a coincidence. That's timing. That's divine precision. That's the moment you are meant to be reminded that you are not forgotten and that what you're going through still has purpose. You didn't find this message by mistake. You were guided to it because something inside you needed to hear it right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today. Life has a way of bringing you exactly what you need when you need it most often, when you least expect it. It might come after weeks of silence, months of struggle, or years of wondering if things will ever change. But when the right moment arrives, the right words reach your heart like a spark of light in a tunnel of darkness. That's not random. It's divine mercy. Maybe you've been praying for clarity, asking for a sign that you're on the right path. Or maybe you've been holding on to pain that no one else can see. You've tried to stay strong, but deep down, you're tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of not knowing why things are the way they are. And then this message appears before you, almost whispering, you were meant to see this. It's not just a video or a few words. It's a response to those silent prayers, to those sleepless nights, to that quiet plea in your heart saying, please give me a sign. Sometimes you don't need a miracle that changes your whole life. You just need a reminder that you're not alone, that you're being guided even when you can't see the way ahead. That reminder comes at the perfect time. And that's what this moment is. It's not by chance that you're here. You may think you just scrolled and stopped, but in reality you were stopped gently, purposely, to be reminded that there's still hope for you, that there's still meaning in your journey, and that everything you're experiencing has already been accounted for by the one who knows your story from beginning to end. Think about how precise that timing is. Out of billions of people, billions of moments, billions of distractions, somehow this very message reached you. That's not luck. That's not random. That's divine alignment. Because the truth is, sometimes we don't go looking for reminders. Reminders find us. You didn't ask to hear these words, but deep down you needed to. And that's the beauty of how you're guided. The guidance doesn't always come as a loud voice or a clear sign. Sometimes it's a quiet message that finds its way to you at the exact second your heart is ready to receive it. You might have been through so much lately. Maybe you've lost something important. Maybe you've been questioning your worth. Or maybe you just feel numb and disconnected. But know this, you're not here by accident. This message came to meet you at your breaking point to remind you that you still matter, that you still have a purpose, and that your pain is not meaningless. You may not see the reason now, but one day you'll look back and realize why this moment had to happen exactly as it did. Life is a series of perfectly timed events, even the painful ones. You were never meant to have it all figured out. You were meant to learn, to grow, and to be reminded that no matter how lost you feel, you're still being guided. The fact that this message reached you is proof of that. So don't brush it off as coincidence. Let it sink in. You're being spoken to softly and purposefully. You were led here because your heart needed light, and this was the moment it was meant to find it. So take a breath. Let go of the need to understand everything right now. This message is your sign, the one you've been asking for, waiting for, or maybe even giving up on. You didn't find this video, it found you. Because the one who guides all things wanted to remind you that you're seen, loved, and not forgotten. Not even for a moment. One of the hardest things to accept in life is delay. When the things you've prayed for don't come when you expect, when your plans fall apart again and again, when it feels like you're standing still while everyone else is moving forward. In those moments, your heart whispers questions. Why not me? Why not now? But the truth is, every delay carries meaning. Every pause is protection. Every moment of waiting is preparation for something that you might not see right now, but will one day be thankful for. The timing of your life isn't off. It's exact. You're just in a chapter that hasn't yet revealed its purpose. Think about it. How many times did you want something so badly only to realize later that it wasn't right for you? How many times did a door close and you were heartbroken only to find a better one open later on? Every delay, every rejection, every redirection, they all carry messages from the one who knows what lies ahead when you don't. You see, what feels like waiting to you is actually a process of alignment. Life is not punishing you, it's positioning you. You might think you're ready for what you want, but maybe what you want isn't ready for you yet. There's a kind of beauty in delay that most people never notice. It's during these waiting periods that you grow, that your character is refined, that your heart learns patience and humility. If everything came instantly, you wouldn't learn trust, you wouldn't build faith. Sometimes you have to be emptied before you can be filled. You have to lose what you thought was best so that you can receive what truly is. Every time you wait, you're being strengthened in silence. Even when you can't see it, it's in the waiting that you're tested. Not to break you, but to prepare you. Imagine asking for rain, but not realizing you first need to prepare the soil. If the rain came too soon, it would wash everything away. That's how life works. Blessings arrive when the ground of your heart is ready to receive them. So, if you've been praying for something, whether it's healing, success, love, or clarity, and it hasn't come yet, know that there's meaning in that delay. You're not being ignored. You're being guided toward a time that's better than the one you're trying to force. Sometimes delays are there to protect you from pain you can't see. You might think that opportunity you missed was the best thing that could have happened. But what if it would have destroyed your peace? You might think that person you wanted to stay was meant for you. But what if their presence would have pulled you away from your purpose? You can't always see the danger in the things you desire, but the one who guides your life can. So when something doesn't go your way, don't see it as rejection, see it as redirection. A sign that something greater is waiting for you ahead. And then there are those moments when delays test your patience to the limit. When years go by and you still haven't seen the outcome you hoped for, those moments are the real trials of faith. They're not there to make you give up. They're there to teach you that the timing of your life is not in your hands. When you finally understand that, peace replaces frustration, because the moment you stop demanding that life follow your schedule is the moment you start trusting that every delay is a part of divine wisdom, a wisdom that sees beyond your current vision. If only you knew what was being prepared for you right now. If only you could see how many things had to move, how many hearts had to change, how many unseen details had to align for your prayer to be answered perfectly, you'd never question a delay again. You'd thank the waiting because it's shaping you for what's written for you. The pain, the stillness, the unanswered questions, they're all tools shaping your strength, faith, and patience. So the next time you feel frustrated because things aren't moving fast enough, remember these delays are not denials. They are pauses filled with purpose. Every moment that feels like a standstill is actually progress in disguise. You might not see it yet, but one day you'll look back and realize that the wait wasn't a waste. It was the most important part of your journey, because it was during that waiting that you learned to trust, to grow, and to believe that even when nothing seems to be happening, everything is falling into place. It's easy to see blessings in moments of joy, when life is smooth, when your prayers are answered, and everything seems to fall into place. But the real challenge begins when you're facing trials that shake your faith, when you feel like the ground beneath you is collapsing, and when the pain in your heart becomes too heavy to carry. In those moments you might ask, why me? Or why now? You might feel forgotten, tested, or even punished. But what if the very struggles you're trying to escape are the same ones carrying the greatest blessings for your soul? What if what you see as pain is actually protection, and what you feel as loss is the foundation of something extraordinary that hasn't yet been revealed? Every hardship you've endured has a purpose. Every tear you've cried has been counted. Every sleepless night has been seen. The truth is, struggles are not random. They are lessons written with mercy. They're not there to destroy you, but to refine you, to draw you closer to your Creator, and to teach you the kind of strength that comfort could never offer. Sometimes the only way for your heart to grow is through breaking. Sometimes the only way to recognize light is by walking through darkness. When life tests you, it's not because you've been abandoned. It's because you're being prepared. Every challenge you face is a form of training, a way to strengthen your patience, increase your gratitude, and deepen your faith. You see, if everything came easily, you would never truly understand the value of what you have. You wouldn't grow, you wouldn't seek, and you wouldn't learn what it means to trust even when you can't see the outcome. It's through struggle that you develop resilience, and through pain that you find purpose. Sometimes what looks like a disaster is actually a disguise for mercy. The job you lost may have protected you from a path that would have broken you. The person who left may have been removed because their presence would have delayed your peace. The delay in your success may be saving you from arrogance or a downfall that your heart isn't ready for. You might not see it now, but there's always meaning behind what's missing. Every disappointment carries wisdom that will only make sense when you look back from a place of peace and clarity. Your struggles also reveal who you truly are. When life is easy, it's simple to be calm, kind, and faithful. But when the storms hit, that's when your character is tested. That's when your true strength surfaces. Pain exposes what comfort hides. It teaches you empathy for others who are struggling, and it humbles you to realize that you are not in control, that everything you have can change in an instant. And yet, through all of it, you survive. You keep standing even when you thought you couldn't. That's not weakness, that's grace. That's proof that even in your lowest moments, you were being carried. One of the greatest hidden blessings in struggle is that it brings you back to what truly matters. In hardship, your heart naturally turns to prayer, to reflection, to gratitude. You begin to see that the things you once took for granted, health, family, peace of mind, are actually priceless gifts. Struggles strip away distractions and false dependencies, leaving only what's real and lasting. They remind you that peace doesn't come from external success or material gain. It comes from the calmness of a heart that trusts its creator. When you look at your life, think of every trial that once broke you. At that time, you may have thought you'd never recover. But here you are, still standing, wiser, softer, stronger. That's the hidden blessing of struggle. It transforms you in ways comfort never could. It builds patience where there was frustration, gratitude where there was complaint, and wisdom where there was confusion. So the next time life feels unfair or pain feels unbearable, remember this: there's beauty in the breaking, there's mercy in the delay, there's meaning in every difficulty, even if it's hidden behind your tears. The very struggle you're questioning today might be the reason for your peace tomorrow. You might not understand the blessing now, but one day you'll look back and realize that every trial was a step towards something better. Something you couldn't have reached any other way. Your struggle isn't a sign that you've been forgotten. It's a sign that you're being shaped. Every difficulty you face is polishing your heart, preparing you for what's coming next. And when the blessing finally arrives, you'll realize that every moment of pain was worth it, because it brought you closer to purpose, closer to peace, and closer to the one who never lets a tear fall without reason. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning to trust what you cannot see. We live in a world that constantly demands proof. We want to see results, outcomes, and reasons before we believe that something good can come out of our pain. But faith isn't about seeing. It's about trusting even when you can't understand. It's about believing that there's a plan unfolding, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. When things don't go your way, when life feels unfair, and when nothing makes sense, that's when you're being called to trust the unseen plan. You see, there's a bigger picture beyond what your eyes can perceive. What you see as a setback could be a setup for something far greater. What you think is the end could be the beginning of a completely new chapter designed just for you. But in the moment, it's hard to see that. You only see the pain, the confusion, the loss, and you wonder, why me? But the truth is, every twist in your story has meaning. Every delay, every closed door, and every heartbreak is part of a plan so detailed, so perfectly written, that if you could see it all right now, you'd fall to your knees in gratitude instead of frustration. Trusting the unseen plan means surrendering your need to control everything. It means letting go of the idea that you know what's best for you. Because sometimes what you think you want could actually hurt you, and what you're trying to avoid might be exactly what you need to grow. The unseen plan takes you through detours, storms and struggles, not to break you, but to build you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of carrying the blessings waiting ahead. You might not understand why you're going through what you're going through now, but one day you will. And when you do, you'll realize that everything had to happen exactly as it did. Think about it. How many times have you looked back at something painful and realized later that it was a turning point? The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the dream that didn't come true. They all felt like losses at the time, but now you see that they redirected you to something better. That's what trusting the unseen plan means. Having faith that one day you'll look back and understand the why behind the wait. There's something incredibly freeing about letting go of the need to have all the answers. When you finally stop trying to figure out every detail and simply trust that there's wisdom behind every event, peace begins to replace anxiety. You start to realize that life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. Every heartbreak taught you resilience. Every rejection taught you patience. Every loss opened a door for something greater. The unseen plan is not working against you. It's working for you quietly, gently, perfectly. But trust doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your best and then letting go of what's beyond your control. It means waking up every day, giving your all, and knowing that the outcome isn't in your hands. It means believing that even when you can't see progress, things are moving behind the scenes. Sometimes the best things in your life take time to unfold, and the only reason you don't see them yet is because they're still being prepared. When life feels uncertain, remind yourself that uncertainty is where faith lives. You don't need to see the entire staircase. Just take the next step. The unseen plan will reveal itself piece by piece in ways you never expected. And when it does, you'll realize that everything, even the pain, was necessary to bring you here. The timing, the people, the lessons, the moments, all of it fits together like pieces of a puzzle you couldn't see before. So if you're in a season of confusion or struggle right now, hold on. The unseen plan is still unfolding. You may not understand it, but it's working for your good. Every tear, every test, every delay, it's all shaping your destiny in ways beyond your imagination. Trust that the one who wrote your story hasn't made a mistake. He knows what you don't. And when the time is right, you'll see why it all had to happen this way. The unseen plan isn't meant to be understood right away. It's meant to be trusted. So let go of your worry, stop questioning your path, and believe that even in the silence, even in the waiting, something beautiful is being written for you. One day, you'll see it clearly and you'll smile through tears, realizing that every single step was leading you exactly where you were meant to be. Timing. It's one of the most powerful forces in your life, and yet it's something you can't control. You can work hard, plan everything down to the smallest detail, and still find that things don't happen when you want them to. It's frustrating, isn't it? You pray, you wait, and you wonder why things are taking so long. But what if the delay isn't denial? What if the timing you think is late is actually perfect in ways you can't see yet? The truth is, destiny doesn't rush. It unfolds exactly when it's meant to, not a moment earlier, not a moment later. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually protection. Maybe you weren't ready for what you were asking for. Maybe the blessing wasn't ready for you. There's a reason the door didn't open when you wanted it to. Because on the other side of that door, something still needed to be prepared. Sometimes life has to rearrange people, places, and events before your path becomes clear. You might think you're ready, but destiny knows better. It knows when your heart is strong enough, when your character is mature enough, and when your faith is deep enough to handle what's waiting ahead. You see, if everything happened the moment you wanted it to, you'd never learn patience. You'd never develop endurance. You'd never understand gratitude the way you do now. Every moment of waiting is a test, and it's also a form of training. shaping you into someone capable of holding the blessing without losing yourself in it. Sometimes the longer the wait, the greater the reward. The waiting season is not a punishment, it's preparation. Think about how the universe works. Nothing blooms all year long. Even the most beautiful flower must endure seasons of cold and darkness before it can blossom. The seed doesn't question why it's buried in the soil, it simply trusts the process. It knows that in time, with care and light, it will break through. The same goes for your life. When you're buried under difficulties, it doesn't mean you've been forgotten. It means you're being planted. Your time will come, and when it does, no one can stop it. There's a rhythm to destiny, and when you start to trust it, peace replaces frustration. You stop comparing your journey to others because you realize everyone's timeline is different. Some people bloom early, others bloom later. But the beauty is the same. What's meant for you won't miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. When you truly internalize that truth, you stop chasing things that aren't aligned with your path and start focusing on becoming ready for what is. The perfect timing of destiny also teaches humility. It reminds you that no matter how much control you think you have, you're not the author of time. There's something bigger guiding the moments of your life. Something that knows when to give and when to withhold, when to open a door and when to close it. And often the closed doors are as much a blessing as the open ones. The no you receive today could be the very thing that saves you from pain tomorrow. You may not realize it now, but everything is happening exactly when it should. That job you didn't get, that person who walked away, that plan that fell apart, they were all pieces of a puzzle that will one day make sense. When the timing is right, you'll see how the delays were actually alignments, how the waiting built your strength, and how the detours brought you closer to where you were always meant to be. The challenge is to hold faith when nothing seems to be moving, to keep walking even when you can't see the destination. That's where trust becomes real. Because if everything made sense right now, faith wouldn't be necessary. But when you learn to trust the timing, even when it feels unbearable, that's when life begins to change. Because suddenly every moment feels purposeful, even the ones filled with silence. So if you feel like life has paused, remember it hasn't stopped. It's sensing. Everything is aligning behind the scenes, the people, the opportunities, the moments. And when the time is right, things will happen so effortlessly that you'll realize why the wait had to be long. You'll see that the timing wasn't just good, it was perfect. Be patient with your story. It's still being written. Don't rush what needs time to grow. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that what felt like waiting was actually grace. The grace that allowed you to grow into the person ready to receive everything you once prayed for. That's the beauty of the perfect timing of destiny. It never fails, it never delays without reason, and when it arrives, it makes everything that came before worth it. So listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. You're here for a reason. You are meant to find this video, because somewhere deep inside, your soul was calling out for it. And the one who hears every silent call decided to answer it right now. This is not a coincidence. It's mercy, it's love, and it's divine timing.